Hi, my name's Saba and welcome to Living Listed, the vlog that follows me as I accomplish various things on my bucket list and hopefully inspire you to do the same. Today I'm going to be talking about number 95 on my bucket list, paying off all of my student loans. Now, to preface this video, and this might come across a little superficial and vain, but I've always wanted a certain amount of money in my bank account and get to the point where I could live off of passive income so that I would have the option of working as hard or as little as I would like. Granted, I probably would still be working hard, but I just want the option to be able to take it easy as well. But the thing that is really standing in my way and preventing me from doing that are my student loans. As of today, I owe $436,150.16 to the government for my medical school education. Medical school and becoming a physician costs a lot financially, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about the sacrifices that I've made and that I know a lot of other physicians had to endure going on this career path. And I hope this is helpful for people to get a better understanding of the field, and I hope it's also helpful to aspiring physicians to help them get a better understanding as to what the sacrifices are and better determine whether or not this field is right for them. So first of all, medical education in the U.S. requires a lot of schooling. After completing high school, you are going to be doing 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, and then 3 years of residency, at least 3 years. Of course, that number will vary depending on the specialty you're aiming to get into. During undergrad, I studied probably like 3 to 4 hours a day, and then during med school, I studied at least 4 to 5 hours a day, and that did not include attending classes, which ran from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 5 days a week. For training and education, I find that most med students and residents kind of go where they get into, and that means possibly moving to certain locations in the U.S. that they otherwise wouldn't be in if it weren't for their education. During the entire training process, you're also going to be missing out on life experiences and large milestones such as births, weddings, funerals, and just the time constraint and the distance will make it difficult to maintain relationships in this particular field. And as you get into the world of adulthood, it's going to be more difficult to also establish new relationships. In my experience, medicine has been a very toxic environment, and that toxicity starts in medical school. I felt like there was a lot of berating of students and residents, and in my experience, that experience was worse when you were a minority and a woman, and that often makes the shifts, which can be as long as 24 hours or more, much more stressful. There's also sleep deprivation, and all of that contributes to your mental health, which in turn affects your physical health. So it is tolling both mentally and physically. And then while all this is going on, you're going to be looking around at peers who are not in medicine, gaining all these life experiences and growing in ways that, in my experience, I didn't have the opportunity to in like that particular phase of my life. And for me personally, I always feel like I'm playing catch up, which is really unfortunate that I feel that way, but it's the truth. Then upon graduating residency, you're going to be an attending, which means a working physician who doesn't have to answer to a supervising physician. Oftentimes, you're going to be working hours longer than that which you're contracted, and you won't be compensated for that time. In addition, your work will get harder due to the requirements for electronic medical records, and in addition, you're also going to be working against people who don't have the same medical background as you, and they're going to be dictating a lot of your patient care and trying to tell you what to do. And examples of those groups of people include insurance companies, and whether or not they're going to be covering for a procedure or a diagnostic test, or a medication for patients. And if you work as an employee like I do, you're going to also have to deal with administrators, most of whom don't have your medical knowledge and are going to be trying to dictate a lot of the things that you do. I know a lot of the things that I'm going to be saying are a bit touchy, but this is my experience. Furthermore, there is an increasing number of mid-levels, which are like nurse practitioners, physician assistants. And I think that most employers and the field of healthcare is trying to use those middle levels as a substitute for physicians because it's more cost effective. Physicians are expected to train them for free, with the possibility that they could replace you in your position or replace the physicians coming after you. Plus, these mid-levels are gaining the rights and responsibilities of physicians without the same medical background, and in addition, they are being held accountable by different and less stringent governing bodies than physicians. So I think it's unfair. That's my viewpoint. And I know it's going to offend a lot of people, but these are my experiences as a physician. Another physician's experience may differ. All of that being said, there are many wonderful things about being a physician, and I'm incredibly grateful for my job. One of the things that I'm grateful for is to be able to take care of patients in this way. I don't think that there is any other career out there in which you have this unique opportunity to take care of people. Second, you are given a lot of trust from patients regarding their private affairs and their experiences. So that is a privilege and an honor to be able to be trusted in that regard to help provide that better care for patients. And third, there is a level of job security with being a physician that a lot of other jobs don't have. So those are just some of the great things about being a physician. Right now, I'm going to actually move on to the core as to what this video is about, and it's about me paying off my student loans, crossing number 95 off my bucket list. Now, I haven't been able to pay them off completely, spoiler alert, but as of today, I owe $436,150.16 to the government for my education with an interest rate of 6.7%. Without paying any principal on this loan that I currently owe, this loan at the end of 25 years, which is actually my pay period for the loan, it will balloon to $1,770,568.06. I am a family medicine physician, proudly, and the salary of a family medicine physician within Illinois, the area which I practice on average, is $218,477, and that's according to salary.com. I earn less than that because I work part-time. So in order to pay for my loans, I am using an income-driven repayment plan. There are several. The ones that I'm most familiar with are the pay program and the repay program. I personally do the repay. That was determined to be the one with the lowest monthly payment. And for those income-driven repayment programs, the repay and the pay specifically, you pay up to 10% of your annual salary. For me, that's about $950 a month. That is the mandatory payment for that month. Even though I think that's a relatively large number, that amount of money does not even cover interest. And like I said before, if I don't pay any amount of money towards principal, my loans will balloon to around $2 million, which is crazy. So the nice thing about federal loans and income-driven repayment programs is that after a certain amount of time, your loans are going to be forgiven. However, the amount that is forgiven is going to be taxed. I'm personally enrolled in a 25-year payment period, which means after 25 years of payments on the income-driven repayment program, all my loans will be forgiven. However, the caveat to that is you're going to have to pay taxes on whatever you've been forgiven. So, like I said before, my loans will balloon to up to $1,770,568.06 with compounded interest. If that were all to be forgiven, my taxes to be paid on that money will amount to $708,227.22. I also wanted to add that most physicians, because they earn above a certain salary annually, they're not eligible for tax breaks for the interest that they pay on their loans. So in order to try and achieve my goal of paying off my student loans, I signed up for something called Public Service Loan Forgiveness. It is a program in which you have to meet certain requirements, a couple of which you have to be signed up for an income-driven repayment program, you have to work for a nonprofit, and you have to pay 120 payments to qualify. If you meet all the requirements, they'll forgive your student loans completely tax-free. However, as of 2019, only 1% of all applicants got approved and had their loans forgiven, while the rest were rejected and are now faced with having to pay their student loans off. So I don't rely on the public service loan forgiveness program, and I would not recommend other people to either, because of the small likelihood of you getting your loans forgiven through that program. So I'm trying to pay off my loans as quickly as possible. There are a couple of ways that are often cited as ways to pay off your loans. One is to pay off the loan with the highest interest rate first. That way you'll pay less interest in the long run when you finally do pay off your loans. So overall you'll be paying a less total amount. And then the other way of paying off your loans is to pay the smallest loan off first. And that's what I'm doing, because I would rather get rid of a loan completely before I'm moving on to the next loan, because I do worry about there being a situation in which I can't pay a certain amount of money each month towards my principal and have all the interest reaccumulated and then be in the same position that I started. So that's why I try and pay the smallest loan off first. And in doing that, I pay my minimum required payment, which is again around $950, and then in addition to that I pay anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 additional per month towards the principal of my loan. And if I were to continue that, I would be able to pay off my student loans plus accrued interest within around 20-ish years, which seems like forever. I'm not a financial analyst or a financial guru, but if I were to invest all of the money that I'm spending to pay off my student loans, for instance, in a mutual fund that yielded like a 7% return, I could grow $800,000 to $1 million over the same time period of 25 years. Which will be more than the amount of money that I would owe in taxes to the government. So while that seems like an attractive route for me to take, I have invested in mutual funds before, and there is risk involved. Not all funds are successful, although it's often recommended to hold them for years and years. Anyway, if I were to invest that money, it would grow to around $1 million, and after that I would be able to pay off the taxes that I would be taxed for my student loans, plus have some money left over. But I have purchased mutual funds before, and I've lost money even after holding on to them. And because there is that risk involved, I'd rather spend a small portion of my income to invest and the rest of my income, which is a huge chunk of my income, towards paying my student loans off. So that gives me a peace of mind. I feel like I'm spending a little bit of money towards growing my wealth as well as paying off my student loans. In acquiring all the student loan debt, I realized I made a lot of mistakes that I really want to mention to help prevent other people from making them as well. First of all, and this is quite the obvious, but you want to manage your student loans from the get-go and try and pull out as few loans as is necessary, and try and budget and spend well below your means to minimize the amount of money you're going to be taking out total. If you're not lucky to have parents or relatives that'll pay for your schooling completely, there are ways to help pay a portion of your loans off, and just do a little research in order to figure out ways to help you do this. There are scholarships available for med students. There are government and statewide student loan programs available to students and physicians, and I will link them down below, as well as how much you can get forgiven. Also, when you become an attending physician, you can negotiate student loan forgiveness within your contract. Just know that whatever your future employer agrees to pay towards your student loans, you'll have to pay taxes on that amount of money. So take that into account. Another thing I would advise people going to grad school is to try and pay off your loans as soon as you can and as aggressively as you're able, sooner rather than later. I did not start paying off my loans aggressively until like 1.5 to 2 years after graduating residency, which was a mistake on my part because they grew exponentially. Anyways, this year, in the last 365 days, I was able to contribute about $12,000 towards the overall amount of student loans that I owe. And I was able to pay off 2 student loans. And I realize that's a very small amount relative to how much I own total, but it's progress, and you gotta commend progress where it's been made. I will probably check up on working towards this goal annually. If you want me to create follow-up videos more frequently than that, let me know in the comments below. But as of now, working towards this goal is going very slowly, so I don't think it's going to provide as much value if I gave more frequent updates than that. Like I said before, the cost of medicine is more than just a financial burden and sacrifice. So for any aspiring physician out there, I recommend that you discuss with other physicians, people that have achieved your dream, in regards to any advice that they would give you, and any specific concerns that you may have. And of course, definitely shadow as many physicians as you can, particularly in the fields that you're interested in, to get a better sense as to what this job entails. And if you truly love and enjoy taking care of patients in this way, then by all means pursue this field. So that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. And also, if you're interested in creating and conquering your own goals, please head over to my website, livinglisted.com, sign up for the email list, and get my free ultimate guide to creating and conquering your living list sent straight to your inbox. Also, if you would like more information on how to accomplish your goals, I have also created a course called Goal Oriented: How to Accomplish Anything. I will link information for both of those down below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.